Please watch your cheese when out for a walk or playtime. I'm reading you the Facebook post I found just today. This is my 6 pound Chihuahua Phoebe, picture not from today. Took her to a rec park today and she was being super playful. When I got home several hours later, she was having spasms, stiff body, acting afraid of everything, couldn't walk, stand, and lost control of her bladder. I rushed her to emergency vet and it turns out she is high. She is high. The vet thinks she must have eaten some discarded drugs at the park. I was so afraid of losing her. I'm not trying to scare anyone, but maybe Phoebe's story can help prevent someone else's baby getting sick. I thought that was a great post to share with you guys because I think this is one of the most undiscussed topics in the positive only force free world of dog training we live in, and this post is a great example of that. So there is something called aversives, which means making your dog never do this again, right? That's what like extreme aversive would be. They should be averse to a stimuli. For example, you should never eat socks if you've been eating socks, or you should never be eating pills from my countertop, or you should never be eating sandwiches from the table, or you should never eat weed. And actually, this is not such a far off example of that, because I just now have a client who got a dog and he is the owner of the weed shop. And one of his requests for his board and train was that the dog shouldn't be eating weed from the floor. He's like, I'm making my people, my employees, swipe the floor all the time, but I'm still super scared that the dog gonna pick up something from the floor and die. And this is a legit concern, and so is this post. However, force-free, positive only does not allow aversive, right? Because it's supposed to be bad for the dog, to cause stress, and to be, it's just not, yeah, it's just considered a bad thing, right? That you are like damaging your dog, basically. Now, I think it's a very important topic to talk about, because if you're not training your dog with aversives not to ever eat anything from the floor or a particular item, we can go on and on. There's basically never to repeat this behavior ever again, right? Then what do? Well, we can look at the comments right here and you can see, oh, this is terrifying, I hope she's okay, whatever. And then here, I've seen a dachshund and Yorkies start acting totally wasted after getting into a mushroom in my friend's backyard. Could have been a mushroom. Some native mushrooms are toxic to dogs and can cause high or drunk side effects if it doesn't just unalive them altogether. Exactly. If they don't die by eating it, that's what the person means. Those dangers are there for our dogs, especially for puppies, because puppies, they are living a dog life in a human world, and people don't realize that. They don't realize that a puppy constantly is facing dangers in our human world, because they can eat something that can endanger their life just by picking up something on the street. It can be a cooked chicken bone. If you haven't seen that episode that I've made about your dog eating chicken bones, it's not just you like cooking chicken bones and giving it to them. No, they also can pick up a chicken bone on the street and have a big problem. It can be lodged in their stomach. They can require expensive surgery. So what is positive only force-free training suggests to us? And by no means I don't criticize it. I just want you to understand and see clearly what that entails. It entails that you have to keep an eye on your dog 24/7, literally. So, especially when they are puppies, because we cannot, right, in the positive only world, we cannot do anything that the dog is not comfortable with, basically, right? So we can only do positive things, and obviously I'm oversimplifying things. And then as they grow, we hope that those behaviors gonna get extinct, and they do in a lot of times. However, you can be facing something like this when the dog picked something, no matter what. It might be, it's here, it doesn't say the age of Chihuahua, so we don't know if she's a puppy or not, but I assume it's an adult. And if it's an adult and your dog is still eating something from the floor because you didn't teach, you didn't train how not to do that, with aversives, right, or with basically with positive punishment, don't do that again, then if you are on the route of positive only and force free, you are hoping that this behavior is going to go extinct. It's not always. Why? Why it doesn't always get extinct when the dog grow up? It's because it's self-rewarding. Why is it self-rewarding to eat weed? Well, it's self-rewarding to pick something up. Why is it rewarding to pick something up for the dog? Because, my friends, and again, nobody talks about it, we bring the dog into, again, our world. We put them in a condominium or a house where usually they just have us humans as their companions, not even their own kind. Not everybody has a second dog, but even if they do, we put them on the couch for the whole day. We leave to our work for 7 hours and the dog does nothing. And then we give them free food, meaning every morning and every evening they get free food, and then they get free shelter, and then they get free love, right? And why this free thing is so important, or why I'm saying it like it's a bad thing, well, it's because the animal, which dog is, was meant to hunt for all those things, just like us. You're going to work not because you love to work, it's because you want to get money to pay for your food, to get food. Basically, you are hunting. And so you are stripping away your dog from the hunting behaviors. For example, in my system that I trained my dog never gets free meal. And my mom thinks it's horrible. She's like, this is horrible that you make your dog work for his food. And that means basically he needs to perform some sort of command, or we're doing a training session and I'm feeding him during that session. He never gets a bowl of food. And she said, this is horrible. She's like, he has to work for his food. I said, yes, so do you. Do you feel horrible? Do you feel this is unfair that you have to work for your food? She's like, well, no. I said, well, then why you feel so bad for the dog? But anyway, I can't change her mind, right? And I don't want to change her mind because in reality, we all are different people and we all have different thoughts. I'm just giving you a perspective that you might haven't thought about. And I think this is why I basically created this channel, to give you different perspective. And you don't even have to agree with it. You might think something different. And if you do, and if you have some deep thoughts, make sure to leave a comment, because Homeless Raven, it's a science that bites harder than a dog. Okay, now back to the dog. So as we are providing them free food and free shelter and free love, that means that they don't hunt anymore for their food, right? Because in the wild, back in the days, they were hunting for all those things. And that's how their day was going by. Now they're bored out of their mind. And that's why all those crazy behaviors also pop up. We actually started to post, it's I don't remember the name exact of this series, but they're going to be coming out every Saturday. Make sure you check it out. Oh, I just remembered. It's called the Reality Collapse series. So it's basically, we're starting with popular breeds and how they're collapsing in modern homes because of what we're talking about. They don't get the job that they were bred for, right? and then all these destructive behaviors come about. And that's not good for a lot of dogs. Some dogs do just fine, some not, and you don't know if you're going to get lucky or not. So to go back to the hunting behavior. So when the dog is out and about with you on a walk, and especially this lady let her off leash, what do you think the dog gonna do that was sitting in the apartment or in the house for the whole freaking day waiting for you to come back from work? Yes, it's gonna hunt. It's gonna enjoy herself. I think this is her. Baby, is it Phoebe? I guess it's a her. It's a she. So the dog is enjoying herself. The dog is hunting for food because it's fun, and also because probably somewhere in the puppyhood, because we didn't suppress that behavior, right? That hunt behavior where you pick up things from the floor and you get rewarded for it because it's good stuff you're picking up a lot of times, right? Or you're just picking up stuff basically, right? Like, oh, here is a piece of ham by the trash can. Oh, here is a piece of chicken again by another trash can. And like, those are all rewards. These are good things for the dog. So every time it sniffs and finds something and you don't see and you don't take it out of their mouth, they basically are just reinforcing that behavior over and over again. So every piece of food that they picked up from the floor on their own is reinforcing that behavior that I can find good stuff on the floor. So that's why that behavior does not always extinct. If you were very good and you were really like on point, really like watching like a hawk, which you can, and you just literally pick out every stuff out of their mouth, you don't let them eat anything every single time, which is extremely hard because it has to be every walk, every minute, every second, literally. And so I'm keep checking my laptop because I have don't have a charger with me, and I have, I think, what is it, 15%. I think we're good. I don't want this to be shut down in the middle of the recording, which happened to me already before. And so this behavior does not go extinct because it has been reinforced when the dog snuck out some food when you were not watching. It can go extinct. Don't get me wrong, some dogs will then stop picking up things from the floor in happy days, and that's why positive only, force-free, whatever, gonna work for you, because that behavior is just gonna go away on its own as the puppy grows up. So it's a management behavior, right? You have to manage, and that's what this person from this post is suggesting, right? I'm not trying to scare anyone, but maybe Phoebe's story can help prevent someone else's baby getting sick. So managing and always watching will be here your scenario. What is the other scenario? And you don't have to do it at all, right? And again, I think as educated human beings, we have to know all the angles and all the options and all the possibilities. And personally, having a medical education, I believe into providing as much information as possible to people, because we as dog owners need to be educated not just from one angle but from multiple angles, right? So we just covered about managing behavior and hoping that the behavior is going to go extinct over time. And there are two more options. Option number 2 is like kind of in the middle of both. So making sure that the dog doesn't pick up anything from the floor and removing anything from their mouth, and also having leash control. What does it mean? My dog, I know he likes to pick up stuff from the floor, so I have him on the leash because that gives me control. If the dog is now introduced to balanced training, something called balance training, and then the option number 2 would be to have a pop on the leash, which is a movement like this. And I'm not teaching you here how to do this, please be aware of that. I'm just telling you options, right? So the pop on the leash with a command like leave it, right? So you would just do pop, leave it, or leave it, pop, whatever. We're not going to get into classical conditioning details right now, but basically you will be charging command with a pop. And so after some time, it's going to be a positive punishment. The dog does, you don't like the behavior, the dog gets correction, the dog gets corrected, the likelihood of this behavior to appear again decreases, right? That's what positive punishment is. So then next time, if you do this enough times, it can be done on a flat collar, it's called flat martingale collar, or it can be done on a prong collar. You just say next time, leave it, and the dog just does it. The dog steps away, couple of steps away. When you see, if you see him approaching a piece of food, you just say leave it, and the dog steps away. So it's not like you have to, for the rest of the dog's life, you have to be popping him on the leash, on the prong or on the martingale flat, and keep doing the same thing over and over again. And that's what a lot of people with balance training don't understand. You train the dog with balance training, and it can be like hard. It can be hard because not everybody has the heart to correct the dog the proper way, right? With positive punishment. To deliver a pop on the leash, don't do this again. But once it's done, and it's done enough times, the dog learns that, oh, we are out of the battery. Oops, I changed the scene. All right, I'm gonna start talking a little faster about this. So the dog learns that when I hear a leave it, it means I better leave it so I don't get correction. So again, the dog just then learns that I don't do that again. When my owner, my mom, my dad says leave it, I just step away. So that would be a leave it command, charging it. And then there is third option, which is like the most effective, and of course because of that it's the most controversial, right? Why is it the most controversial? It's because it's the most not cool. Okay, why is it not cool? It's because usually this would be taught with e-collar, and e-collar in this case will be used as what's known as a hammer, right? That means you take a taste of the weed and you're gonna get smacked on e-collar on a high level, and you're never gonna do this again. And usually you have to do it anywhere from 2 to 3 times. It's a high level stimulation on e-collar, and guess what? And the dog will never touch the weed again, ever. You can let now your dog off leash, and you can put the weed all around him. He will sniff, and because it's so aversive to him now, because he received this, to him smell of the weed or taste of the weed means that, right? And there were a lot of studies, and if you're interested, I can bring you the study in the next video. Let me know in the comments. But basically it was the study was with rats, and they were electrocuting the floor of their chamber, and basically the rats learned very fast that you don't go to that part of the cage, whatever, to that place ever again, and they just stopped going there completely, even after electricity was turned off. And that's why we're talking here. Exactly. So the dog is now aversive to the weed. Is it aversive to everything else? No, because we only charge the weed because we think it's what's dangerous, because that's what we're around, right? For this guy with the weed, I have to talk to him and I have to explain him all 3 options, and I let him decide what he thinks is better for his dog. I'm just quickly gonna quickly look at the battery percentage. Why this is so important? Well, Iana, this is not nice. Option 2 and 3, number 2 is basically a leashed option, right? We are basically, the dog is on the leash and we are controlling with leave it. The leave it command is charged. Option number 3 is aversive to a certain thing. It can be also, before I segue into this, it's off-leash option. Right now you can be safely around weed and your dog can get high, basically, but it can't get high, obviously. And then or it can be a mushroom, it can be a poisonous snake, it can be a poisonous toad, it can be anything, or it can be even actually don't pick up anything from the floor, and basically you can charge it, you can generalize that you can never pick up anything from the floor. It's all bad for your health. And that would be, again, e-collar, aversive. And that works for off-leash because the dog will never ever do this again because it receives a high stimulation. And why I'm bringing this up, why I think it's so important, man, I'm 5%, my laptop is dying. It's because managing it is never 100%. I want you to be very clear about it. If you're gonna go with route number 1, positive only, force free, nothing is wrong with it, but you have to manage your dog 24/7. There is no exception. And it's fine as far as you're always there for them and you can take care of them, because if you don't, your dog will die. Your dog will encounter snake, it will encounter chicken bone, cooked chicken bone, it will encounter this weed. You never know what it's gonna encounter, but it will encounter something. And maybe it's gonna be fine, like with this dog, it's alive, thanks God, all good. But maybe your dog gonna die. And there is another post, and I'm gonna bring it up on the next one. A dog ate pills, ate a bunch of pills from person's husband. They were laying on the chair, and the dog overdosed and died. So, in my opinion, it would be better for the dog to go through aversives 3 times, not to jump and go eat things from the table or from the chair, than for the dog to die. Because sometimes it's really hard to manage through the whole dog's life 24/7. There are so many things they can eat and die. There are grapes, there are chocolate, there is avocado. I mean, we can go on and on. It's like a crazy list, like pills. You know, you name it. It's snakes, toads. It can be anything, or just something. A stone can require a surgery, and they also can even develop like bad habits, just eating socks, literally. Or glove, I also another post. So basically, where I'm going with this, if you're choosing the managing option, please make sure you really manage 24/7 and keep an eye on your dog, and always be educated with other options. I think I rushed a little bit through it, but it's because now I have only 4%. But if you're interested more in the training options, right, and the training topics we can discuss, I think all 3 options have their right to exist, and they should be existing, because different options are for different dogs, different owners, and different applications. That's my opinion, and if you have different opinion, let me know in the comments and we can talk about it in the next video. And I'm gonna stop this recording, and you hit the like button if you watched this point, and remember to subscribe to the channel.